In this lesson, we learn about the life-changing moment of Kisa Gotami, a woman who experiences immense grief after losing her only son. But it's not just her story. It's about a universal truth that Buddha reveals to us all. Let's start with a brief overview of Gautama Buddha's life and how he became the enlightened one. Gautama Buddha, originally named Siddhartha Gautama, was born a prince in northern India around 563 BC. As a young boy, he was shielded from all the pain and suffering in the world. At the age of 12, he was sent to study Hindu sacred scriptures. After returning home, he married and lived a life of royalty. But here's the twist. At the age of 25, his life took a dramatic turn. What could possibly change the life of a prince, someone who had everything he wanted? Keep watching to find out how one hunting trip led him to a life of enlightenment. While out hunting one day, Siddhartha came across something that changed him forever. He saw a sick man, an old man, a funeral procession, and a monk begging for alms. These sights disturbed him deeply, making him question the nature of life and suffering. Unable to ignore the sorrow he had seen, Siddhartha left his palace and set out to seek enlightenment. He wandered for 7 years and eventually sat under a peepal tree, vowing to stay there until he found the truth. After 7 days of meditation, he attained enlightenment and became known as Buddha, the awakened one. From that moment on, he dedicated his life to teaching others about the truths of life. Now, let's talk about how Buddha's teachings impacted one woman in particular, Kisa Gotami, and how it led to one of the most important lessons on life and death. Kisa Gotami had an only son, and tragically, he died. Overwhelmed by grief, she carried her son's body from house to house, desperately asking for a cure. Everyone told her the same thing. Her son was dead, and there was nothing they could do. But Kisa wasn't ready to give up hope. One day, she met a man who suggested she visit Buddha for help. Eager for a solution, Kisa approached Buddha and asked him for medicine to bring her son back to life. Here's where Buddha gives Kisa Gotami a very unusual task. What do you think he asked her to do? Let's find out. The mustard seed task. Buddha told Kisa that he could help her, but first she needed to bring him a handful of mustard seeds. Sounds simple, right? But there was a catch. The mustard seeds had to come from a house where no one had ever lost a loved one. Kisa, filled with hope, immediately set off to find the mustard seeds. She went from house to house, but every family she met had experienced the loss of a loved one. Slowly she realized the painful truth. Death is a natural part of life, and no one can escape it. Kisa's realization. As Kisa sat by the wayside, watching the lights of the city flicker and die, she understood that just like the lights, life is fragile and short. Her personal grief was part of a much larger truth. Death is inevitable for everyone. Isn't it amazing how a single experience can change your perspective? Let's see how Buddha explains this profound truth. Buddha's sermon. Buddha explained to Kisa Gotami that life is filled with suffering and death is something that no one can escape. Just like ripe fruits fall from the tree, all living beings are destined to die. He taught that grieving excessively won't change this fact, and instead, we should find peace by accepting the reality of life and death. Buddha's message was clear. Those who are wise do not grieve over the inevitable. Instead, they should let go of their sorrow and find peace within themselves. Only by releasing the pain of loss can one attain true peace of mind. Conclusion. So, what does the sermon at Benares teach us? It's more than just a story. It's a lesson about understanding life's impermanence. Buddha's teachings guide us to accept death as a natural part of life and focus on living without being weighed down by sorrow. Now that we've explored this powerful lesson, how does it change your view on life and death? Comment below with your thoughts and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful lessons from your Class 10 syllabus. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Remember, this lesson isn't just for exams, it's wisdom you can carry with you for life. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and share it with your friends. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.